Okay. This thing on? It's only like 5 o'clock, but there's a storm outside. Hopefully it's not too loud for what I'm doing. But yeah, it is pouring rain out there. Whoa. Yeah. And yeah, it's super dark. And that's just the way it is. So if my internet goes in and out, it may be because of the storm. But anyway, we're going to go on anyway with what we're doing because I do a live every Sunday, live at 5, give or take a few hours. And that's what we're doing. So the other day, I broke my toe, which was awesome. I was just like walking out there, just right over there, you know, kind of walking briskly. And I was walking a little bit too close to a very sturdy metal thing that is not going to move when you kick it with your pinky toe. Oh, I whacked that sucker so hard. Just you know, like bam with the pinky toe. And I stopped. And I looked down and my pinky toe was like crooked. And I was like, oh crap, I broke it. Oh no. So I bent down and bent it back into straight, and it stayed straight. So I was like, okay, I don't think it's that bad. And I wiggled it. I can still wiggle it. I mean, it's a pinky toe. Can't do much with it anyway. But I can still wiggle it. So I was like, all right, I think it's fine. So, you know, I was like, I'm just gonna be careful on it for a few days, so I don't, you know, hurt it more. I don't know. It's probably like fractured. It turned purple too. That's why I'm pretty sure it was broken. You know, between the being crooked and that it turned purple, I'm pretty sure I at least cracked it. Anyway, so I've been trying to, you know, be gentle on my left foot the last few days. So when I'm doing my wheelbarrow and stuff, you know, a lot. Oh, you just disconnected just long enough to make me swear. Anyway. So I haven't really used my left foot in a few days, like 4 days or something. So this morning, when I decided to try running, I was like, all right, let me just go upstairs and run around the flat part of my track, not up on the bank. I'm not ready for that yet, it's my toe. Let me just do a bunch of laps and just, you know, jog a little, see how my toe is. And my toe was starting to feel okay, you know. I was like, oh, I think I can kind of run on it a little bit. So that's good because, you know, I like to run every day. I like to jump around and be active, you know. I don't like when I can't move. I feel like I'm trapped, a little bit helpless, you know. So anyway, I start running, you know, jogging a little, and my toes feeling all right. So I'm like, yeah, I think I can go a little faster. So I'm speeding up a little faster. Next thing I know, my left calf just cramps up, and I'm like, oh, son of a... Obviously, that's gonna happen because I haven't used my left calf in like 4 days. So, the downside of this is that now my left calf has this knot in it, which is not feeling good. This knot is not feeling good. Well, it's not terrible. It's actually, yeah, I've been kind of walking it off, and you know, all day today, and it's kind of. It's feeling all right. I'm hoping it's one of those quick recovery kind of things. So that's the downside. But the upside is my calf hurts, so I don't really notice my toe anymore. Like I feel like my toe is almost back to normal. I don't know. I don't want to poke at it too much. But it's not like swollen, and it's not really as purple. Yeah, I think my broken toe is healing pretty fast. Like. Mostly because I don't think I broke it clean through or anything. I think I just like fractured it or whatever. Anyway. So, speaking of the track upstairs, I've decided that I kind of want to like stick that as the top priority for like the next week or two and just get it done. I should be able to get it done within the next couple weeks, depending on the weather, of course. If it's like pouring rain every day, it's going to be a lot harder to go get the paint I need and the sealer and whatever last few things I need. I also need to cut a few more boards of wood. So for anyone who doesn't know, I've got this second floor up here above my head, and this outer part here is banked. Oh, let's just go upstairs and look at it for a second. There should still be enough light to look at it. Hold on, we're going up the stairs. We're going up the stairs. Yeah, it's seriously so dark right now, just because of the clouds. Anyway, I don't know if you can tell, but I spackled some here. Get this out of the way. Yeah, I did some spackling, filling in little cracks and stuff on the track, and did some sanding. And my power planer apparently does work on the track. I just had to put a new blade in it, because the blade that was in it is one that I had taken out and sharpened a few times, so I'd made it a little shorter. Plus, it wasn't quite as sharp. When I put a brand new super sharp blade in there and set it to its deepest cut, I was able to plane the banked part of the track. So that's all planed all the way around. And then since then, I've been doing the floor, which should be flat all the way across now. I don't know how much I'm gonna bother sanding it. Probably not much, because like it's pretty flat. I mean, there are a few like marks from the the planer and stuff, but I don't think I really need to worry about that, because we're like roller skating up here and stuff, and it's planed flat enough that the roller skates can roll smoothly across until they get to this part, because I haven't done this section over here yet. But yeah, the floor is doing really good. And so I want to paint this part like reddish brown, and then like one lane reddish brown there, and a white stripe and a white stripe, and then another white stripe up there, so it looks just like an outdoor track or like a fancy indoor track. And then I'll probably, I don't know, I might clear coat the rest of this, although I'm considering just floor painting it, because I know the wood is beautiful and everything, and I clear coated, it's going to be so nice. However, I mean, the floor is going to get beat up a lot, so I might just floor paint it. I don't know. Either way, it'll be cool. Let me go back down here and hobble on my stupid calf. Oh, strained calf. Dumb strained calf. Another thing that was going on earlier today. So I was doing something, it doesn't matter what, but I was thinking about housewives, right? And how that's like the worst job ever, supposedly. It's considered to be like a lowly job, like a terrible job. No one wants to be a housewife. I mean, just ask any feminist, they'll tell you, ooh, only a housewife? It's like you're being in prison, it's horrible, it's the worst job ever. And then I was thinking about it. What is so bad about that job? And I was like, what if that job was offered to me? What if I had a wife and she was like, hey, Jaimie, I've got this idea. So I was thinking maybe I'll go out every day and go to work and make money and buy the food and whatever, and then come home, and you can stay home with the kids and the house and just take care of all that. And then I'd be like, wait. So I get to hang out with the kids all day at home. I get to work on the house and make it amazing, clean it, organize it, make it amazing and awesome. Set up a cool garden, like do all this cool landscaping, just basically make my home super awesome. And that's all I have to do. That's all I have to worry about. So you're gonna go out, you're gonna deal with all the a-holes of the world, and you're gonna worry about all the money, and all I have to do is hang out with the kids and like make our home amazing? Oh my God, that sounds like the best deal ever. So I think I want to be a housewife. Oh my God, can you imagine? That would be the best job. That's basically what I do right now, is like spend all day trying to make my home amazing, except I also wouldn't have to worry about money. And when dinner time comes along, I don't have to buy the food, I just have to cook it. And then when my wife comes home, I could check out the amazing place, come in, take a load off, and I could do all these cool games with the kids. to be like, all right, Mama's coming home. Let's get her all happy because she's coming home from all this stressful crap from the day. She's gonna tell us about how the cement truck didn't show up on time, so she had to pay these guys for 2 hours sitting around till the cement showed up. And then the clients were upset that people were there too late. Blah 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 blah. Oh, we can show her how awesome it is at home, and then the next day we get to do it again and just hang out at home doing amazing stuff. And like, yeah, I don't get why people would not want to be the housewife. That sounds amazing. That's an awesome job. All right, that's all I have to go on about right now. What do you got? What's up with you guys? Oh, I gotta turn up my brightness here. I saw the title and laughed. Sorry, bro. Oh. OKC 306. Yeah. I felt pretty stupid. Just like, yeah, it's like, I was just walking, just walking, and there was plenty of space. It's not like I was even trying to squeeze through anywhere. But I just walked too close to this big heavy metal thing, and I was walking briskly, and just whack, pinky toe right into the thing. So stupid. Anyway, I felt like quite an idiot after that. I did laugh too. Broke or sprained, Ken says. I don't know. Well, it turned purple. I know, it doesn't matter at this point. It's getting better on its own. I think I cracked the bone at least, though. I've never broken a bone, but I have sprained my ankle twice and my toe once. Oh, I've definitely sprained my ankles before. Once I sprained my ankle really bad a week before the city championships in track and field, and I was like, oh no. And then at the city championships, like I basically spent that week just trying to recover, just so I could like hobble around the track. Now I was at this point in a position where I could win the provincial championships, right? So the city championships was not difficult for me to win, but I had this like really sprained ankle. So even hobbling around the track, as long as I could do a halfway decent performance, I still won the race, no problem. And then the next week was another qualifier and another qualifier, and each week my ankle got a little bit better. And then at the championships, the provincial championships, because Canada has provinces, not states. By that point, it was pretty good. So that was very exciting. Anyway, so you're laughing just because so many times you said to yourself, Jaimie, shoes. Yeah. The problem is, if I was in maybe if I was in a colder climate, I'd wear shoes more often or something. But like I'm inside and outside all day, and it's like right now I'm actually I gotta take this off. I'm starting to sweat just having a shirt on. This happens like right now. It's pouring rain, right? So you'd think maybe it's gonna cool things off, but sometimes when it rains, it just gets like super humid, and oh my god, it's not even that hot. It's just so humid. So yeah, don't worry, I'm still wearing shorts. Oh, anyway, yeah, shoes. Well, I guess there are a couple issues with shoes. One, my feet are enormous, so it's hard to find shoes. But yeah, even when I have shoes, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't need shoes. But yeah, now I smashed my toe and oh well. The real answer is I just have to pay attention better, like I normally do, like all the time. It's just not paying attention right or whatever, Mr. Landfill, what's going on, man? John Schlick just bent over to pick up a 1 pound aluminum commercial restaurant baking pan and threw out my back. Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, that's why it's like super important to like continually be active, like to stay active all the time. Because like once your body kind of gets used to like sitting or resting or not using a body part, then you go to use it and it's like, oh, and then you like throw out your back or you like strain your calf or whatever. Yeah, that sucks. Humans are both resilient and awesome as well as incredibly fragile. Well, yeah, the thing is, humans will adapt to whatever you're doing. So, yeah, if you just get used to, if you spend a lot of time bending over and picking things up, you'll never hurt your back unless you do it at the beginning. But if you've been doing it for months and you've had no problem, you keep doing it, you'll never have a problem, right? But then if you get adapted to not doing something and then you go to do it, yeah. Soccer coach that I could not explain to once. And he used to like to do this thing where he would start us in a game and then he would like I was one of the starters for the team, right? Like he would start all the best guys, and then like 10 minutes into the game, he would take us all out and then put in the substitutes for like 15 minutes. Like long enough to cool down and like for your body to basically go into like rest mode. And then be like, all right, guys, you guys have had all this rest. Now you can go out there and you'll be like raring to go. And we're all like, oh, no, now we're cold. And we go out and you'd be like, why are you running faster? Because, yeah, your body adapts to whatever you're doing, man. Anyway, Amesworth says, I've only ever broken a toe, my pinky toe. Table dropped in it, then ran over by a car. Both. Oh, man, yeah. Okay, we got some deleted messages. Your face says, aha, yeah. The track is looking good so far. Thank you, Amesworth. Yeah, the track is great. Now I wish that my toe wasn't smashed and my calf was better. But hopefully that stuff will all... I mean, my toe seems to be getting better pretty quickly, and hopefully my calf is just one of those, quick recovery things. But I do still need to go cut some wood for the floor, because there's like this much... There's like 3 strips of floor left to do up on the track part. They have to go out to the jungle and cut it. And my kids, 2 of my daughters, their math assignment one morning was to go calculate how many more wood strips I need. And they calculated 42. And it's like most of it needs 3 more strips, and there's a chunk that still needs 4 more strips. Yeah, 42 more 1-inch wide strips of wood, 10 feet long, 3 meters. Yeah. Let's see. Where are we? Amesworth says, yeah, being a housewife is so difficult, especially with modern technology like washing machines, dishwashers, robot-controlled floor cleaners. After your 2.5 hours of work per day, what would you do? Build robots! Oh my God. Build stuff. Yeah, if I was like a housewife, my wife, my man wife, I don't know, my wife would get back, and every day there'd be like new stuff built, and like the house would have like new additions and stuff. She'd be like, whoa, what's going on? And the other thing I don't get is like if I was a housewife, I wouldn't need any money. Like as long as if my wife was like bringing home food, and then we also have food in the garden that's growing, whatever. After that, like what do we need money for? Like almost nothing. Like if I need to build a shed or something, I might need a little bit of money for chainsaw gas. Other than that, like hardly anything. Anyway. Let's see, yeah, being a housewife, all right. I love you, Jaredcino. Jared, did I say that right? Jaredcinio says, I love you. Well, thank you. I guess you're talking to me. Good job, Mr. Landfill, deleting those trolly messages. I'm presuming they were pretty trolly if you're deleting them. Thank you very much. Amesworth says, for the track floor, maybe make it look good from below. Utilitarian on top. Can appreciate it from both sides then. Well, I think I'm just going to leave bare wood from down here. The wood's really nice. It's kind of like a bit pinkish. It's like beige pinkish. It's very pretty wood. It's what's it called? Mahogany. Yeah. So probably from the bottom, I'm just gonna leave the bare wood and just coat the top. And yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm leaning toward just painting the whole top surface. Like painting the outside lane, 2 lanes, like a track. And then maybe painting the rest maybe green to kind of remind of like grass, or maybe gray, or some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of fun color. Because if I clear coat it, I feel like it's just gonna get dingy and dirty after a while. Because like, you know, my kids are up there sawing things all the time and drilling things and hammering stuff, and they do a pretty good job of not damaging the floor, but not that good a job. They also like, I mean, my 4-year-old draws on the floor. You know, she tries to stay on her paper, but every now and then she just goes off onto the floor. And yeah, I feel like it's just gonna, I feel like if I just paint it with some good floor paint, you know, it'll end up looking nicer in a year than if I clear coat it, which will look really nice at the beginning until it gets, you know, messy. John Slick says to Ainsworth, it's not so much about the work, it was historically about not having a choice. And that led to its place in the hierarchy of jobs. Well, yeah. Well, I'm not going to get into that. I think it's mostly just propaganda to get more people in the workforce. I gotta lean toward Ainsworth on this one. I think that, and this is, you know, I mean, this is based on a lot of history, but of course, any history you get is written by someone. So, I mean, you got to kind of like fill in a lot of blanks and take a lot of guesses. But I don't think that most women wanted feminism and to go to work. I kind of buy the story that most women were like, why would we want to do that? No, we want to stay home and do stuff. This is what we would choose. And women did have the choice to go work. They just weren't choosing to do it. Now there are, I mean, there's tons of, I mean, there's so many cans of worms open here once you get into this discussion. Yeah, there were a lot of things where women did not have choices, but by the time women could vote, and you know, like gender and race segregation was basically gone in North America. By that point, people had the choice, you know, and I think it took a lot of pressure to convince most women to join the workforce. And like what Ainsworth is saying here, you know, double the workforce, and you know, you can cut wages, and all this crazy stuff comes from it. That's good for businesses, but not good for people. And even today, there's still so much propaganda demonizing being a housewife. Like why would you ever want to be at home? Why would you want to spend time with your kids? That's like, why would you not? You know, like if you really just think about it, that's awesome, man. That's great. You, like that, yeah. All right. So Ainsworth said, I think it's mostly just propaganda to get more people in the workforce and consuming more. We shouldn't have to send both adults in a household to work just to stay afloat. Yeah, totally. I 100% agree. The crazy thing is that in the past, not that long ago, one parent could work and support a whole family. Today, we have way more technology than they had in the 50s. But for some reason, now life is harder. That doesn't make sense. Like, that doesn't add up. Some other shenanigans must be going on. James Morello said, modern life should be about less work, not more. Oh, totally. Should have more time to explore and create, not less. Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, like in the 1950s, people had like lots of everything they needed. Like people, like life was supposedly pretty darn good for people in the 50s. Now, you know, except for all the women were trapped at home and couldn't blah 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 whatever. But let's put all that aside for a minute. Let's just look at the economics. One parent could work, support a family of like 6, you know, 3 or 4 kids, whatever. No problem. Have a nice house, be able to go on vacations, have extra income, be able to save for the future. They just had more than they needed, right? So fast forward 50 years to where there's all this technology that didn't exist back then. Theoretically speaking, people should be able to work like half as much. Like one parent doing a part-time job should be able to support a family of 6 easily at this point. But for some reason it's gotten the other direction. With more technology, with more capabilities, life has become harder because of the culture, not because of the technology or not because of anything that's reasonable or should be there. It's just the way the culture is going. People are being taken advantage of way too much. Matthew says, love you, Jaimie. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. John Slick says, track floor from below. I get that it's pretty, but if you have issues with enough light, painting some of it white will bounce more light in the space. The wood is actually pretty light. So, I mean, right now it's super dark in here, but that's because there's a giant storm cloud like over my house. And yeah, it just is dark. Although it seems like it might be passing. The rain is slowing down, but it's still really dark outside. Yeah, it's not even 6 o'clock yet, right? Like it would normally be bright at this point, at this time of day. Oh man. Slarty Barfus says, I thought you were streaming from the shower for a few seconds there. Yes, I'm streaming from the shower. That's all the water you can hear. Yeah, you can probably hear the gutter. So there's a gutter around my house, and like about a third of it goes into a tube that fills up my water tank. And then the other 2/3 just kind of funnels to the front of the house where there's a little spout. And this big stream of water comes out from the roof, not right in front of the front door, but a little bit off to the side, because obviously you don't want it right in front of the front door. And then there's some buckets down there, so they just catch water. And it's also where I wash things. So, I mean, like I wash things normally, but like anytime there's a rainstorm, I do like the serious washing. So like, you know, I've got my pan here, and most days, you know, I just kind of wipe it out. I don't really wash it because, you know, I don't want to wreck the seasoning. But every once in a while, I'll just put it out in that water stream, and it just blasts it and, you know, makes it really clean. Sometimes I'll even put it out there upside down, and the bottom of the pan is black from because I cook on a fire, you know, wood fire, so it's all soot and stuff. Sometimes I'll put it out there upside down, and that'll all clean off, and it'll be down to silver again, just from the water coming down. Anyway, but yeah, I'm not actually in the shower. Great North Web says, I'm late to the party. Tell me you didn't smash that toe on the running track. I did not smash it on the running track. That probably would have been a nicer story. No, I was just walking. Like I went outside the front door of my house and just went that way, and just over there there's a metal thing that it's like this big aluminum kind of grid that I hang clothes on. So it's like the clothes drying rack, but it's like, that's not what it originally was. Originally it was like a bridge between a dock and land. So it's, you know, kind of heavy duty, but it's got all these strips, you know, like every foot it's got a strip of stuff going across, so I can hang clothes on it, and it just leans against the house, and that's the clothes drying thing. It was very solid, and I was walking past it, and I just walked a little too close and just smashed my pinky toe right against it, which was pretty stupid. Yeah, that was pretty stupid. Oh man, Anyway, Sam Off Grid, how you doing, man? John Schlick says, other shenanigans going on. Oh man, let's find out what's going on in the world. You know, I usually don't pay attention to the world, but let's see. The minimum wage in the U.S. hasn't changed appreciably in 40 years. Federally, it's still $7.25 an hour, and the cost of living, by comparison to the 50s, needs to be $23. Yeah, if you're gonna have a minimum wage, people are gonna pay people that, and I feel like that if you're gonna have a minimum wage, it should move with inflation. That seems like it would make sense. Like if you're not gonna do that, then don't have a minimum wage, and because I think if you have a minimum wage that's too low, it's gonna encourage people to accept that pay. So I think in that case, it would be better to just not have a minimum wage, and then people wouldn't have that number in their head when they're going to a job. They would think more about like, okay, what do I actually need? You know, this is a whole other can of worms to get into, and this comes down to negative sum games versus positive sum games, and so much of our culture today, you know, in first world countries, is about negative sum games. Like a negative sum game is where two people interact and have an exchange, and overall value is lost. So like any kind of theft is a negative sum game, because when someone steals something, it reduces the value of what they're stealing. And there are a lot of, you know, sort of legal-ish thefts going on today where things are taken from people, and it's more valuable to those people that is being taken from than it is to the people taking it. And then a lot gets wasted. There's so much being wasted. And that's I mean, you can boil down a lot of the problems in our society to just negative sum game interactions. Because if you have a society where you generally have positive sums, like positive sum interactions, that means you have mutually beneficial interactions. And it's just not how people think today. People today think, how much can I get? What's the most I can get? Doesn't matter how much I'm screwing over the other person, I need to get as much as I can get. The other person's thinking the same thing. But if people thought consciously, okay, let's do what's going to give us both the most overall value, you end up with just a much better end result over time, because value keeps being created instead of value being destroyed every time someone gets greedy, you know. What were we talking about? Greed is always the answer. Yeah. Reed Cook says, saw Jaimie and had to do 10 lady push-ups. Not even breathing hard. Nice. Lady push-ups, come on, man, do the real ones. Amesworth says it's deeper than the minimum wage. Yeah, I was just going into some of that. That's just the proverbial tip of the iceberg. Encouraging lending, pushing second home income behavior, destruction of small farming industry, mass commercialization, passing legislation to protect communities by restricting new home and requiring crazy standards to be followed. All the young have so much extra weight to lift today. Oh yeah, totally. This all comes down to what I was talking about, you know, the negative sum games, where like just so many rules are implemented. It just makes things so much more difficult. It's not adding value to society at all. It's just destroying value. And yeah, if you try to just, you know, do the right thing today, oh, you just get run over. It's terrible. Yeah, all that stuff you're talking about, man. Yeah, encouraging lending. Like, don't go into debt. One of the things I tell my kids is never get a loan. Never be in debt. If you want something and you can't afford it, wait. Wait till you can afford it. Never get into debt, because once you're into debt, there's a whole pile of problems that come along with that. Like financial, social, like once you're in debt to someone, you're basically their slave until you pay it off. And yeah, there's just all kinds of problems. Let's see. Sam Off Grid says, if we had law that required making workers shareholders and strict tax penalties for planned obsolescence, we could fix everything. You know, I don't think laws fix it. I think we need to fix the way people think about things, because you're never going to get enough laws to cover everything. There's always going to be a loophole. There's always going to be some way of getting around it, to do some crappy thing. And once people govern their behavior based on whether it's legal, whether or not they can get away with it, then they have a tendency to give up on moral thinking. So instead of having a moral compass that you can't circumvent so easily, people end up focusing on these legal parameters for making all the decisions, and there's always loopholes. Like, how can I get away with this? How can I get away with that? How can I get around this rule and that rule? And you cannot make enough rules to cover all the circumstances that could come up. But if people start behaving based on internal morality, like, you know if you're doing the right thing. You can't just sidestep morality. It's not the same as finding a loophole in a law, because morality, it covers things. Like, it's something that is developed over millions of years. It's like built into our DNA. Like, once you start gauging your actions based on internal morality, so many things make sense. And you know, you can't just sneak around and be greedy because you can get away with it, because you won't. If your conscience catches up with you, of course, today people just take pills to sleep when they can't sleep because their conscience is killing them or whatever. But yeah. Ainsworth says, can't just buy land and put up a house you built yourself. That is insane to me. The fact that as a living creature, a human being, you are not permitted to create your own dwelling. Like, there is no other animal on the planet that is not permitted to create their own home. Like, can you imagine going up to a crab and saying, "Oh, no. Sorry, Mr. Hermit Crab, you can't climb into this shell that's been abandoned and sitting here because you don't have the right paperwork. So you're gonna have to." You'd be like, what are you talking about? No, I am gonna die if I don't have a home. I'm gonna go do a home. Like, that's what every human being should say. Like, there should never be a circumstance where a human being is asking permission to construct a dwelling for themselves and their family. That is so insane. It's so crazy that we do that, and people have accepted that. Like, I can understand if you're building a hotel or some building that other people are going to go in or whatever, but if you're building a home for yourself and your family, like, a human being should be trusted enough to have the responsibility to build a safe home for their own family. And the argument against this is always the same dumb thing. Like, oh, people don't know how to do that because they're dumb. They're going to build something that's going to fall on their family's head and kill everyone. Blah, blah. Okay, just imagine that you are this man, or maybe you're a woman. Mostly dudes watch this, so let's just go with that. But there are some ladies too. So let's say you're this person who is in charge of building a home for your family, and your family is gonna live in that. Are you really just gonna slap a few sheets of plywood up and be like, that's good, throw some rocks on top of it, all right guys, oh, let's go in? No, you're gonna be like, oh, this is my family. I care about them. Like, anyone who thinks otherwise, I have to wonder, like, what kind of mindset makes you think that people would not take care of their family? Like if you're building a home for your family, you're responsible for building a home for your family. How could you not make sure it's going to be safe and you're going to do a good job and all that? You know, whether you have to research or get help or whatever you have to do, like you would do whatever you have to do to make sure you construct a good, safe home that's going to last for your family. Like how could you not do that? Unless you're just insane. And and this is part of the problem with our society today. You know, people don't have those responsibilities. So instead, they'll go out and become drug addicts or whatever. Because when you have no responsibilities, there's nothing to do, and people get frustrated with no control over their lives, and then they self-destruct. But if you give people control over their own lives, yeah, some people are going to screw it up. But the majority of people, it's going to be so much better for them. And I could go on about this for like an hour. Ainsworth says, feel free to skip my message. I'm not trying to monopolize the conversation. Just a hot button topic. Dude, totally say your thing. Don't worry if you go on too much, but you're talking about important stuff here. Anyway, you can't just buy land, put up a house you built yourself, have to get permits, permissions, sign-offs, lots of intentional restrictions to keep recurring income for those who already have wealth. Yeah, and property tax is crazy to me. Like the fact that you can buy land and then you have to pay for it every year. That's not buying land, that's renting land. Like in the United States of America, no one is allowed to buy land. I mean, maybe someone is somewhere. I think in Alaska, there's no property tax, if I remember right. But generally speaking, for the large majority of people in the United States and Canada and like all over Europe, everywhere there's everywhere there's industrialized nations, like no one owns land. Nobody is allowed to own land. You have to pay for it as if you're going to buy it, but you don't actually get it. You still have to pay rent every year. It's crazy. It's so insane. Whatever. Remy Croot says, smashed my pinky toe with a sledgehammer. A few months ago. Tell me you had steel toe boots on. Thought it was totally done. No more nail, probably ugly, but it healed up in record time. It's back to normal now. Feet heal fast. That's good to hear. Because yeah, my pinky toe has been. It seems like it's healing really fast. I'm hoping that's not just my imagination. But yeah, it didn't swell up a lot, but there was a bit of swelling. The swelling's pretty much gone. It's way less purple. It almost looks normal now. And yeah, it feels basically normal until I step on like a rock or something and it's right there. Then I feel it. But yeah, it seems like it's healing pretty fast. Can of worms, David Rubino says. Yeah, we are going to eat worms and like it, damn it, yum yum. Yeah, it'll be funny if if civilization collapses, or inflation gets so bad that people can't buy food, whatever. However you want to call it, people could start eating worms reasonably in the not too distant future. Oh man, all right. What are we talking about here? Sam Offgrid says regulations on buildings should all be able to be opted out of. Oh yeah, so many things you should be able to opt out of so many things you cannot today. T Burrow. Oh, wait, no, it's one. It's not a T. Sorry, my screen has tiny letters. Bertonce LJ. I'm just gonna call you Beyonce. Says, how old are you? You look amazing, by the way. Well, thanks, man. I'm 49 and a half. I'll be 50 May 3rd next year. And I've been trying to grow my beard extra pretty and stuff and everything. Anyway, you can't fix how people think, though. You can fix how people think, actually. Yes, you can fix how people think very easily. Just look at the amount of effort it takes to keep people thinking the way they are right now. Like if you look around at our society and start paying attention to all the propaganda and stuff, all the stuff that's meant to maintain the crazy way people think, it's just everywhere all the time. Like that crazy way of thinking has to be maintained constantly. If people stopped getting that propaganda for 6 months, they wouldn't even remember that crazy way of life. Like if the internet and TV and radio all went down suddenly and 6 months went by, I don't even think it would take that long. But that's like within 6 months, people wouldn't even remember the crazy ways they thought before. Like that stuff would change so fast if it wasn't constantly being reinforced with like every TV show you watch, all the commercials. I would say most of the propaganda is actually coming through the TV shows and the movies that show people how to act and tell you what's valuable and what's not valuable, all this ridiculous stuff. Without that, people's thinking would change drastically, particularly if people were left to be responsible for the things they should be responsible for. So, yeah, there's a lot that goes into maintaining the insane way people think today, and it would change like that, man. Do you think Elon Musk can catch his Star Trek with his OLM tower chopsticks? Look into it. They need you on the Rio Grande Delta. I don't know. You could probably figure out how to do it. So I don't know a lot about this. This is Wendy asking this. So there's this big tower thing, and there's a big rocket, and the rocket's supposed to come down, and this thing grabs it, right? I feel like that they should be able to figure that out. I mean, there are obviously a lot of technical details you really, really have to get worked out so you don't crush the thing, especially when it's like under its own power coming down. Yeah, but I presume they can figure that out. That just made me wonder how much fuel they would save if the rocket came down, slowed down, then opened a parachute when it was at the point where, it wasn't going to burn up anymore. Like, would that save enough fuel to be worth the parachute? Probably not, because they're not doing it. And I'm sure they've done the math for this. Another thing that I always wonder about is why don't rockets have ground, like, what would you call it? Some kind of ground force launch thing to get them started. Like a giant slingshot or something, like something to get them up to speed. So and I'm sure there's some reason this isn't happening, but I don't know what it is. But it would, just off the top of my head, like intuitively, it seems like if you built like a track up the side of a mountain for like a mile, and that track had some way of powering a giant heavy thing, and it could run up the track with a rocket, and by the end of the mile, this thing is going really fast, and then on its way up, you start up the rocket engines, you'd have to have obviously some kind of safety thing to make sure the rocket engines are functioning right before you get to the top, and it just dumps it, and it's like, oops, the rocket engines didn't fire. No, they'd have to fire part way up. Anyway, but once you get all that stuff worked out, you should be able to get the thing up to speed, using, whatever ground-based fuel, electricity, some kind of ground-based power that doesn't have to be housed in the rocket. Theoretically, you should be able to save a bunch of fuel, right? I don't know. There's got to be some reason they're not doing that. Maybe it's just a pain in the ass to do or something. I don't know. So Ethan says, you are permitted, you just got to pay an obscene amount of money for the right. So Ethan's talking about you are permitted to build your own house on your own land. You just have to pay for the right to do it. That's not you're not permitted to do it. That means you are not permitted to do it. You do not have permission. You have to get the permission. You can't just go do it. like you have to pay for the permission and beg and fill out all these forms. And you know, when I was building a house one time, I knew someone in Canada who was building a house, and it took him longer to get the paperwork to build his house, like all the permission. It took longer to get the permission than it took for me to build my basic house, and for him to build his basic house. Like he spent more time just doing paperwork and pissing money away on permits and just all this nonsense. Anyway, Sam Off Grid says, take care, adventure builders. Gotta go feed kids. That sounds excellent, man. Go feed them some tasty vittles. But that was sent, I don't know, that was like 10 minutes ago or so. I'm always a little behind on the comments here, so if you send a comment and I don't read it right away, it's because I'm just going through them as they go, you know. John Schlick says, think that home ownership is weird. It's like a quarter of the city of London is owned by one guy. Hereditary land granted by the king centuries ago. Yeah, don't get me started on monarchies, man. Monarchies. Ugh. Beyonce, I know I'm not saying your name right, but Beyonce says, no, sadly people are dumb like that. Even if it is for their own family, they will build shitty houses. I disagree. I 100% disagree with you, Beyonce. The reason people are dumb, and the reason people can't save money, and the reason people can't be responsible for their own home repairs, or for building their own vehicle, or for basically doing anything, is because people are not given the option. And it's not just that people are not given the option. For people to become responsible, they have to have responsibility. And obviously, if suddenly you took away everyone's safety nets and just gave them all the responsibility they should have, for like a year, people are going to just be screwing up all over the place. But in that year, people are going to very quickly learn, okay, now I have to stop doing stupid things. And by the end of that first year, probably a lot of people, most people, will be thinking differently, because if they don't, they'll be dead, you know, or their kids will be dead. Like I do not buy that people would build a house in which their children will die because they built a bad house. That does not make sense at all. I mean, it makes sense only in a society where people are not even permitted to have that responsibility. But once people get that responsibility, man, they're going to take it seriously. Very seriously. The first time, like, something falls and someone almost gets hurt, they're going to be like, whoa, no, this is not okay. This is getting serious now, you know? But it's just people are not given a responsibility, so they're not learning responsibility. But it is something that we learn naturally, very quickly. Anyway, we could argue about that forever, and we get nowhere. You seem to be too competent to understand incompetent people. Oh no, I understand incompetent people, Beyonce. I get incompetent people, and I cannot stand incompetent people. This is one of the reasons that I would really love to have a society where people have more freedom to succeed or fail and have responsibility, and so they become competent. Okay, Slurdy Barfist says, at one time, religion regulated moral behavior. Yes, true. That wasn't the only thing. I think that's one of the few things that regulates moral behavior today, although even in religious circumstances, people are not doing it. Like I've known a lot of Christians who just pollute the earth like crazy. Like they just buy all kinds of like they'll have picnics or parties at their home or whatever, and just buy everything plastic, disposable, and at the end of the thing they throw everything away, even stuff that wasn't used. It's just this mountain of garbage. And you know, you're supposed to be a steward of the earth. You're supposed to take care of it. You're not supposed to just trash this place and say, I'm going to heaven, so who cares? But yeah, religion is not doing what it's supposed to do. Anyway, that was obviously an imperfect system, to say the least. It does seem morality has fallen in relation to the increase of agnostics. Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's because of agnostics. I would say it's largely because of the religions are not They're not based on morality anymore. Like I've known a lot of religious people who are very immoral and go totally against their respective Bible, Torah, whatever they have. And I'll ask them about it. I'm like, hey, why, you're Christian and I just saw you tell a lie. What's going on? That was just a bold-faced lie. I know you know that's a lie. What's up? It's just, like it's just not important anymore, Banks, lawyers, corporations, just get rid of them. Okay, Wendy says 1984 London, missed the stop for the hotel, and then ended up in a Diagon alley. So old, so cool, so unlike anything considered safe or modern. That's cool. That must have been interesting being in one of those areas. Amesworth says, it is crazy. I pay about $26 a day in property tax. Not knowledge I wish I had, but it's there. Yeah, man. $26 a day just to keep owning the land that you supposedly own, which is rent. God, that's like you could stay in a hotel for $26 a day. Not a nice one, but if you did a long-term stay, you could definitely find a decent place. $26 a day, which is insane. Question: how's the dollhouse build going? Oh man, I don't know. They haven't. I mean, my daughter built a dollhouse a while ago, and then, it's basically done. But they do renovations every now and then. They'll build furniture for it. Today was mostly they were helping me work on planing the floors and playing with Lego. Oh, and then they were playing a game of Go for like 2 hours. I don't think they play it by the rules, but someone sent me a board. What Go is? It's just like an old board game. Anyway, someone sent me that a while ago, and my kids were playing with that. But yeah, every now and then they'll start playing with Dollhouse and get all this doll stuff out and start renovating the house or building them. I don't know, all kinds of stuff. They do crazy stuff. Think it's the first time, is sick, says, I think it's the first time I heard it rain there. Hope you're staying dry. I am staying dry. Oh, you son of a, oh, great. Yeah, just as I go to take a drink, it comes back. Okay, where were we? Strider434 says, what is this? I think you mean, what is this weird live of this dude who's in the dark? Well, I have a YouTube channel. I live off grid. I make inventions and stuff. Right now I'm in the dark because it's pouring rain and it's dark. It should be daylight right now. Although it is starting to get towards sundown. But yeah, every Sunday I do a live at 5. Sometimes I'm like an hour late or an hour early or like several hours, whatever. But every Sunday I do this live and we just talk about stuff. Jaimie, Mr. Landfill answered Strider. Jaimie is an inventor and we are his fans. I see. Slarty Barfa says, I get nasty hurricanes every 3 to 7 years. Oh, that sucks. People change immediately when electricity is gone. Roads are impassable, cell towers stop broadcasting, and debris is everywhere. We become a helpful community. Yes, totally that. Now just imagine if you could take that and have it not happen because there's a disaster, but just make that normal, Like just have it become your normal society where people help each other out. People are responsible for themselves, for their neighborhood, and just all like why does it have to be a hurricane or like some natural disaster before people become responsible and helpful and all that, Like we should be doing that all the time. And that should be encouraged all the time. And it's not because people make money off our, incompetence and uselessness and whatever. Kevin Palmer says, what would happen if we boycotted corporations, if people cashed out and invested locally? What would happen if we flipped the script? I think everything would get amazing. Like things would get so much better. Like so much better. Yeah, I think it would be awesome. I mean, that's basically what I did, Um, yeah, I mean, like one of my goals in my lifestyle. I have a lot of goals here, but one of my goals was to make it so that I'm living a life that no crappy people are profiting from. So, every once in a while I have to buy something, whatever. I'll have to buy something from a company I'm not real excited about. But it's so little and seldom enough that they're not relying on people like me to make a profit. And man, life is good. Not everything's perfect, of course, but whatever. Okay, Sam Off Grid. I was just thinking about this actually. Says there's a company working on centrifugal launch. Yeah, so they have this big spinny thing and it shoots things up into outer space. I don't remember what the launch speed has to be, but yeah. Hyperion rocket sled, 19. Okay, Wendy apparently knows about this. So I was talking earlier about why isn't there like a track that like goes up a mountain with a rocket and gets things up to speed before the rockets go off and saves a bunch of fuel that way. So Hyperion rocket sled, 1960s prototype, took off on a hill on rails, but not cost effective. What Jaimie said was, thanks so much, great ideas. Yeah, I wonder why it wasn't cost effective. Because it's weird. The thing is, the payload of a rocket is so limited by the need for fuel. So if you can reduce the amount of fuel, if you could reduce the amount of fuel in a rocket by like 10%, that would be a huge change in the payload. I think you only get something like 3% of a rocket's weight actually making it to outer space, because most of it's fuel, right? Something like that. I don't know. Don't quote my numbers here. Ainsworth says about ground launch. I imagine it's much like launching from an airplane. The extra fuel is probably cheaper than the infrastructure. Maybe with large enough ships, you might have a different break even. I don't know, that fuel. Okay, here, I guess it just comes down to what I was just saying. Like, if you could go from 3% of your weight being your outer space payload to like 15% actually making it to outer space, that would be the equivalent to 5 launches, So there's got to be some really good reason there's no thing just helping rockets take off. I don't know. I feel like it totally work. But again, I haven't crunched any numbers or tried any experiments or anything. Oh, Sam Off-Grid says, kids are eating. A wife is cooking for me? Oh my God, that sounds amazing. I wish I had a wife that was cooking for me. That sounds great. I would cook for her too. Oh, I'd make her some delicious stuff. I would love to have that kind of relationship where my wife like loves to cook for me and where I love to cook for my wife. I don't think I've ever had that kind of reciprocal relationship. Like, it seems like all the relationships I've had, it's like I'm always excited to do stuff, and then my girlfriend's always kind of excited at first, and then it's just kind of like, oh, can you just do everything? And then I'm like, well, it's getting less fun now. Anyway. I meet the wrong people for some reason. Mr. Yanarobi says, dark in Maine. So you've got a storm there too? Or is it just... Yeah, it might be dark in Maine by now, actually. Sun gone down. Jay Evans says, no zombies, not hungry enough yet. I don't know which zombies you're talking about, but... Wizard of the North says, how is everyone? I think people are doing pretty good. You may have heard I smashed my toe. I think it's okay. It's healing pretty fast. Doing good. How are you, Mr. Landfill says. Wizard of the North says, hey, all right, working a bunch. Just trying to get ahead in life. But it's so hard. Cost of living is insane these days. Yeah, I keep hearing about this rising cost of living, and I gotta say, I'm kind of glad I got out of that society when I did. Yeah, I keep hearing that people are having a really, really rough time. the thing about launching rockets is that 90% of the fuel is used for forward momentum, not height. If you launch straight up, you'll just fall straight back down. Okay, yeah, but forward, you can get forward momentum from a ground-based power thing, right? That's what I'm saying, man. Like, get that momentum going. I don't know. You also need to get enough forward speed to attain orbit. Yeah, but say you have a normal rocket, and you got your normal rocket taken off, and it needs 1,000,000 pounds of fuel, whatever. Say you could take that same rocket, speed it up to 10 meters per second on some kind of ground-based power system. That means you can take out a certain amount of fuel from the rocket, replace it with cargo. Because now you're saving a little bit of fuel, because that rocket fuel doesn't have to get that momentum. It gets a little push. And the more push you can give it, the more fuel you can take out of the rocket. I feel like there's got to be something there, you know. That's why they don't launch from mountains or airplanes. Yeah. Steel toe boots, didn't you just buy a new pair? I actually don't have, they're not steel toe, although they are very heavy duty, like leather toe boots. If I was wearing my boots when I smashed my toe, I would have been fine. But I wasn't even doing anything like going out to chainsaw, or I wasn't even carrying an axe or anything. I was just walking over there. I mean, it could have happened like right here. I've stubbed my toe inside my house plenty of times. You know, I'm not gonna wear shoes all the time. I just have to pay attention. Anyway, funding. No bucks, Rogers. Yeah. Wizard of the North says, I attempted to get out of society 2 years ago. Then my house was in the middle of nowhere, burned down. Oh, and I'm in a worse place than I was before. All I can do is rebuild, though. Yeah, man, build your house out of concrete. Then it won't burn down. Not that nothing in my house could burn, but yeah, it would be pretty hard to catch this house on fire. This is mostly concrete. But anyway, man, that's rough. Oh, it's a forest fire. Yeah, forest fire comes through. You know, I gotta admit, like there is one thing that I am mildly, no, I guess there are two things I'm mildly concerned about, that there's pretty much nothing I'd be able to do about. One is a massive earthquake. If there's a big enough earthquake here, I mean, my house is going down. And the other one would be if there's if ocean level goes up enough. Yeah. Although I do have some higher elevation land, so as long as it happened gradually, I'd have time to go build over there. And I do want to build some stuff over there anyway. But anyway, yeah, if there's a big enough earthquake, yeah, I'd be screwed. I mean, everyone around would be screwed. Wendy says heat shield and combining the first and second stage boosters is the NASA spaceflight Boca Chica live chat 24/7 on YouTube. Subject currently. Oh, heat shield and combining the first and second stage booster. I see. I didn't even know they had a live chat. I never have time for live chats except my own. All right. Well, it looks like I'm at the end of comments here, and I'm currently starving, and I've got a bucket of fried rice that I made yesterday. For some reason, I just made a ton of fried rice yesterday with some cow in it and some leaves from outside and stuff. And I kind of made, I don't know, I made a lot. I just made a lot because I don't know, I have a lot today to eat. I don't have to cook today, so that's great. Amesworth says, thanks for the stream. And thank you for being here. You guys make it excellent. Without all your comments, I wouldn't know what to talk about. All right. I'm getting out of here, and I hope everyone has a wonderful, stormy, rainy, whatever. You know, my water tanks should be totally filled up right now, which is excellent. Mr. Landfill, have a great evening. Cow and beef fried rice. Haha, sounds good. Yeah, I did a good job on it. All right. Wish I got here earlier. Thanks, Jaimie. Well, good evening, Wizard of the North. I hope you have a great everything. And okay, I'm getting out of here. Hope you guys have a good whatever you got.